Okay, so I need to stop you. If you're spending significant time right now learning certain 3D skills, skills that feel productive, feel like progress, feel like you're building towards something real, I need you to pause for a second. Because there's a version of this where you spend the next 12 months grinding through tutorials, putting in real hours, genuinely improving, and arrive at the end of that year with a skill set that the market has quietly decided it no longer needs a human to provide. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I've watched it happen. To artists I know, artists who were talented and hardworking and genuinely committed, who were just pointing their energy at the wrong target. Think about it this way. Imagine you're training to be a travel agent in 1993, really committing to it, learning all the booking systems, memorizing airline routes, building customer relationships, getting certified. You're good at it. You're getting better every week. And then the internet happens. Not overnight, but fast enough that by the time you realize what was coming, the industry you've been building toward had been fundamentally restructured around you. That's the risk some 3D artists are running right now. Not because they're not talented, not because they're not working hard, because they're investing in skills that are moving through the same restructuring, just in this decade, in this industry. But here's what I want to say before anything else. This video is not doom. It is not a give up on 3D video. It is not even an AI is taking everything video, because it isn't, and that framing is dishonest. This is a redirection video. A stop spending time here, start spending time there video. And the skills that are becoming more valuable, not less, as AI develops. Those are real. They're specific, and they're absolutely buildable. But first, the honest list of what to stop. Here's what this video is and what it isn't. I'm going to give you a specific, honest list of 3D skills and workflows that are, right now in 2026, being meaningfully disrupted by AI. Not theoretically, actually, in ways that are changing what clients are willing to pay for, what studios are prioritizing, and what the market is rewarding. And then I'm going to give you the counter list. The skills that AI is making more valuable rather than less. The specific places where the demand and the rates are going up because AI is pushing more of the commercial value into territory that requires genuinely human capability. I'm also going to be honest about the difference between skills that are being replaced and skills that are being changed, because those are not the same thing. Some of what's on this list is not stop forever. It's stop treating this as your primary value and start treating it as the foundation something more valuable is built on. The goal is not to make you anxious. The goal is to make sure that the time you're investing right now is pointed at the right targets. Because time is the thing you can't get back. Let's go through the list. Before the list, I want to share something that reframes how I think about this entire conversation. When I first started putting this video together, I thought the answer was going to be a list of technical skills, specific software features, specific pipeline tasks, specific types of output. And some of it is. But the more I looked at what's actually happening in production environments, what studios are saying, what clients are changing their briefs to reflect, the more I realized that the deepest version of this warning is not about specific tools. It's about a specific way of thinking about your value. There's a way of relating to 3D work, a mental model of what you are and what you offer that is becoming genuinely, specifically obsolete. Not the skills attached to it necessarily. The mental model itself. And artists who hold this mental model are vulnerable in a way that no amount of additional technical skill acquisition will protect them from. And the artists who've shifted away from that mental model, who think about their work and their value differently, are the ones for whom AI is genuinely a multiplier rather than a threat. I'll show you exactly what I mean. And I'll show you the specific skills to stop deprioritizing, the ones most at risk right now. One of them is going to surprise you. Not because it's obscure, because it's something most artists consider foundational. Something that feels like the last thing that should be on a stop learning this list. I'll get there, but the context first, because without it, the warning won't land the way it needs to. Stop, or at least stop leading with this. Let me be clear about the framing before I go through the list. Stop learning this does not mean this skill has zero value forever. It means stop treating this as your primary competitive advantage, your lead value proposition, your main reason a client should choose you. because AI is eroding the commercial premium on these skills specifically. Number 1. Basic hard surface modeling for generic assets. This one hurts to say because hard surface modeling is genuinely satisfying to learn and genuinely impressive when done well. And the skill itself is not worthless. It feeds into everything else. But here is what's happening right now. AI-assisted mesh generation tools are producing usable geometry for generic, non-hero assets at a speed and cost point that is already changing studio workflows. Background props, environmental filler, standard furniture, generic vehicles, assets that need to exist in a scene but don't need to be the visual centerpiece. These are increasingly being approximated by generative tools and then refined rather than built from scratch. The studios and production companies I've talked to are not eliminating modeling roles, but they're shifting what they need modelers to do. Less time on generic asset construction, more time on hero assets, complex organic forms, character work, technically specific geometry that requires judgment about what the mesh needs to do in a pipeline, and significantly more time on the creative direction and quality control of AI-generated geometry. If your primary portfolio strength is generic hard surface modeling, clean topology on standard assets, competent but unremarkable, this is the part that's most immediately under pressure. What to build instead: deep specialization in specific types of geometry that require artistic judgment. Hero product modeling, where every surface decision carries brand significance. Organic and character modeling, where AI generation is still genuinely limited. Technical modeling for specific industries, medical devices, aerospace components, architectural details, where accuracy is non-negotiable and AI approximation is not sufficient. Number 2. Basic texture painting and material setup for standard assets. Following on from modeling point, the texturing and material setup for generic, standard assets is being significantly accelerated by AI tools. Substance's AI features various diffusion-based texture generators, material synthesis tools. The time required to get from "I need a worn leather texture" to a convincing first pass has dropped dramatically. For artists whose primary commercial value is "I can texture things well," the premium on that competence is compressing, not disappearing, compressing. The baseline is rising because AI tools raise it for everyone, which means the competence alone, without something more specific built on top of it, is less differentiated than it was 2 years ago. What to build instead: deep material knowledge in specific domains. Automotive paint and clear coat behavior. Luxury leather and fabric for fashion and lifestyle brands. Medical device materials where surface accuracy has functional implications. Cosmetic packaging materials where the visual difference between a render that reads as premium and one that reads as generic is entirely in the material handling. That specific depth is not what AI tools are replacing. It's what they're making more necessary to have because the floor rose. Number 3. Generic product rendering for price-sensitive clients. This is the one that's generating the most anxiety in the product viz community, and honestly, the anxiety is somewhat warranted. The clients who are shopping on price for product photography alternatives and found CGI, a certain portion of those clients are now finding AI image generation sufficient for their needs. The clients who needed a competent but unremarkable product render for an Amazon listing or a generic social post. That tier of work is genuinely under pressure. The rates on commodity product rendering have been compressing. The volume of work available at the lower end of the market has been contracting. This is real and it's current. What to build instead? We've talked about this in multiple videos. The premium, brand-critical, hero image tier of product visualization. The tier where a brand's reputation for quality is entirely expressed through how their product looks in a marketing image. Where the client is Nike or Dyson or a premium skincare brand, and the render is going on the homepage and in national advertising. That tier is not being disrupted. It's growing. Because the brands at the top of the market cannot afford for their visual output to look like everyone else's AI-generated content. Number 4. Rotoscoping, basic cleanup, and repetitive VFX tasks. This one is specifically for artists in or targeting the VFX pipeline. The repetitive, frame-by-frame, technical cleanup work that has historically been the entry point into VFX. Rotoscoping, wire removal, basic plate cleanup, tracking assists. These tasks are being meaningfully automated by AI tools and production pipelines at major houses right now. This is not speculative. Major VFX studios have publicly discussed integrating AI tools for exactly these tasks. The junior roles that used to be a pipeline entry point through this type of work are being restructured. Some of them are disappearing. Others are being redefined as quality control and AI output supervision rather than manual execution. For artists targeting VFX entry through this pathway, the strategy of I'll start with roto and work my way up is significantly less reliable than it was 3 years ago. What to build instead, creature and character technical work, where the artistic judgment required is still deeply human. CG supervision capability, understanding how to direct and evaluate AI tool output rather than just executing manually. Specialized simulation, complex fluid, destruction, cloth, where AI tools are still limited. And increasingly, the generalist TD profile that can operate across the pipeline with enough depth in multiple areas to be genuinely flexible. Number 5. Here's the one that's going to surprise you. Basic lighting for standard commercial work. I know, lighting feels foundational. Lighting is foundational. And the skill of understanding light, how it behaves, how it shapes form, how it creates mood, that understanding remains genuinely valuable and genuinely human. But here's what's changing. AI tools are getting increasingly good at generating good enough lighting for standard commercial applications. Not exceptional lighting. Not lighting that serves a specific narrative purpose or expresses a specific brand character or creates a precise emotional response. Standard, competent, commercially acceptable lighting for clients who need their product to look good rather than memorable. The clients who couldn't tell the difference between good lighting and great lighting, and were paying for good, are finding that AI tools can approximate good. And that compression is happening faster in lighting than in almost any other area, because lighting, in isolation from creative judgment, is largely a technical problem that AI is becoming better at solving. What remains irreplaceable? Lighting as a creative statement. Lighting that is specifically, deliberately, recognizably expressive. Lighting that serves a brief in a way that couldn't have been prompted because it came from an artist who understood what the image needed to communicate and made considered decisions in service of that understanding. The technical execution of good lighting is being partially automated. The creative judgment about what great lighting looks like for this specific brand, in this specific context, for this specific emotional purpose, that is not. Okay, I said there was a mental model, a way of thinking about value, that is becoming specifically obsolete, and that this is deeper than any individual skill on the list. Here it is. The mental model of the artist as a production resource. The artist who thinks about their value primarily in terms of outputs. Renders produced per week, technical tasks completed, pipeline stages executed. The artist whose answer to, what do you bring to a project, is primarily a list of things they can make. This mental model made perfect sense in a world where the ability to make things at a professional quality level was genuinely scarce. Where the bottleneck was execution, where the client needed someone who could take a brief and produce the deliverable. AI is removing the scarcity from production, not completely, and not from complex, high-judgment production, but from the middle and lower tiers of it. And when production scarcity decreases, production value decreases with it. The resource model of the artist becomes less defensible. The mental model that replaces it, and that is genuinely thriving, is the artist as a creative problem solver. Not someone who makes things, someone who understands what things need to do, makes smart decisions about how to make them do it, and uses every tool available, including AI, to achieve that outcome as effectively as possible. The output is still a render. The deliverable is still a 3D asset or a visualization. But the value being delivered is judgment, not production. And judgment is not what AI replaces. It's what AI augments in the hands of someone who has it. Let me give you the other list, the one that matters as much as the warning list. Build your art direction capability, the ability to look at work and know specifically what's working and what isn't, and communicate that clearly. This is genuinely rare and genuinely valuable across every application of 3D. Build your client and brief development skills, the ability to take a vague client need and translate it into a specific, excellent visual brief. AI cannot do this. Every client interaction where you demonstrate this capability makes you more irreplaceable. Build deep domain knowledge in a specific niche, not just 3D skill, understanding of the industry you serve, the aesthetics, the standards, the client psychology, the specific visual language. This combination, 3D skill plus domain knowledge, is not generatable. Build real-time capability if you haven't already. We've talked about this at length. Virtual production, interactive visualization, real-time environments. These applications require pipeline knowledge and production experience that AI tools do not currently approximate. Build your voice, your point of view, your aesthetic sensibility, not as a personal indulgence, as a commercial asset. In a world where AI generates to the mean, a distinctive creative perspective is the most defensible position available. Now, something I want to acknowledge that I think is sitting underneath this whole conversation for a lot of people. The warning about what to stop learning is genuinely useful. The list of what to build instead is genuinely useful. But there's a question I haven't answered yet, and it's the most personal one. What do you do if the skills you've already invested in are on the warning list? What if you've spent 2 years building your identity around product rendering for e-commerce clients, and that's the tier that's under pressure? What if your primary value proposition to the market is the execution quality that AI is starting to approximate? What if you feel like you're being told that the thing you've been building is now worth less than it was? Because that feeling is real. I've heard it from artists, and it deserves more than just build new skills as a response. The transition from where you are to where the market is heading is not just a skill-building exercise. It's a repositioning exercise. And repositioning requires a specific kind of strategic thinking about how to use what you've already built as the foundation for where you need to go. Not throwing away 2 years of work. Reframing it. Recontextualizing it. Using it as the platform for the higher value positioning rather than the entire value proposition. How to actually do that repositioning. How to take an existing skill set that's under pressure and build a more defensible position on top of it. That's what I want to go through specifically in the next video. Because the transition is possible. It's specific, and it's much more achievable than starting over from scratch. So, what should you stop learning, or at least stop leading with? Generic hard surface modeling for standard assets. Basic texture and material setup without domain specialization. Commodity product rendering for price-sensitive clients. Repetitive VFX pipeline tasks. And basic lighting for standard commercial output without a strong creative judgment layer on top. And the mental model to retire the artist as a production resource. Replace it with the artist as a creative problem solver who uses every tool available, including AI, in service of judgment-driven outcomes. What to build instead: art direction capability, client and brief development, deep domain knowledge in a specific niche, real-time and pipeline-specific skills, in your own creative voice. This is not the end of 3D. It's a restructuring of where the value lives within 3D. And the artists who understand where the value is moving and who move toward it deliberately are not the victims of this shift. They're the beneficiaries. Subscribe if this kind of honest, forward-looking career analysis is what you need, because this is what I make. Hit the bell for the next video, because the repositioning conversation is the practical follow-through on everything in this one. And drop a comment. Honestly, which skill on the warning list made you most uncomfortable? The one that hit closest to where you currently are? Drop it below. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.